पतंजलि योग सूत्र में आपका स्वागत है। We were discussing types of samadhis. And in that it was identified as samadhi is two types. Samadhi is of two types, samprajnata or samprajnata. Okay, the samadhi is divided into two varieties. One is called samprajnata and other is asamprajnata. The samprajnata is further of four types. Samprajnata is of four types. What is that? Vitarka, Vichar, Anand, Asmita, Rupa. Right? Which is Vitarka, Vichara, Ananda, Asmita, Rupa. Vitarka, Vichara, Ananda, Asmita. Okay. Vitark is what is Vitark? Vitark Atma Jnanam Shiv Sutra. Remember? Vitarka Atma Jnanam Shiva Sutra. That means Vitarka is dividing things into the categories where Sat Asat Vivek, that is called Vitarka. Jad Chetan Vivek, where you are distinguishing two things from one another. That is called Vitarka. And what is Vichar? Vichar is anything. Vichar is any idea you have in your mind space is Vichar. So Vitarka is that process in which you separate two objects. So first is called samprajnata. One is called savitarka. Okay, so samadhi will be referred to as savitarka samadhi. Samprajna samadhi is of four types, and these four types of samadhis are Vitarka, Vichara, Ananda, Asmita. So first one will be referred to as Savitarka. Savitarka Samprajna samadhi. Okay. Now, here it is said that there are two sorts of objects for meditation. You should know that. So Vitarka is about finding an object either in the material domain or in the self. So Vitarka will be having two objects of meditations, right? Because when you're separating the two, it will have Jada and Chetan. So but the real aim is to get to the real self, Chetan, or the meditation, right? So the two sorts of objects for meditation, that is the nature and the Purusha. That means Prakriti and the Purusha. So you can meditate on Purusha, you can also meditate on Prakriti. Huh? And in Prakriti, you know that there are 24 tattvas, including Prakriti. Actually, last time also I told that Vedic philosophy, yoga philosophy is based on the Sankhya philosophy. And therefore, it means it will follow 25 tattva model, not 36 tattva, 25 tattva model, in which recognition at the level of Purusha is self-realization or liberation. Going beyond Prakriti is self-recognition, self-realization or Atma-Jnana. Right? So if you are finding an object in the domain of Prakriti or nature, you will have 24 such objects, correct? 24 such objects. What are those? Right from tanmatras to tattvas to karmendriyas to jnanendriyas and etc. 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 Correct? And even mana, even the chittam, mana buddhi chitta ahankar is also you have the object of meditation, right? So savitarka, when the mind thinks of the elements of nature by thinking of their beginning and their end, there is one sort of savitarka. The word requires, this word particularly requires explanation. This part of yoga is based on entirely on Sankhya philosophy, right? Which about which you have already probably been briefed when I was discussing Tattvic metrics and 36 tattvas. Each one of you are quite aware of it, right? So you see the ego, the iksha, the will, the mind, all this is combinedly man buddhi ahankar is jointly called the chittam. Hmm. There are four types of samadhis, and when we were talking of vitarka, so vitarka is about putting your logic to putting your logic into action, putting your discrimination faculty into action. That is called vitarka. And therefore, vitarka, when you will do vitarka, you'll of course find segregation, Chadchetan. In the nature, in the Prakriti, you'll find 24 tattvas, which will include your karmendriya, jnanendriya, chittam as well, manabuddhi hankar. Even Prakriti itself, Sat Rajatam, will be your object of meditation. But there is another which is Purusha, the self. So two types of uh, objects you'll find, right? So before everything appears, it is said to be in the avyakta state. Avyakta, unmanifest state of nature before the creation happens. And these two, after avyakta becomes vyakta, then vyakta again becomes avyakta, right? Correct? So, and when this nature goes through this variation, these changes, these cyclic changes of being avyakta and going back to avyakta, getting vyakta and then going back to avyakta, expressed and dormant, expressed and dormant. This is how it happens. So this is the cycle of nature which will continue to happen. That means the world, for that matter, will continue to go through the cycles of creations and destructions. Many times the big bangs will happen and what not will happen. World will appear and disappear, but the Purusha stays unchanged, right? Purusha remains unchanged. And our whole effort is to know that Purusha, which is the essence of all intelligence, which is the source of all the knowledge which is applied in this creation. Of course, even Shiva Sutra is saying that you are creating this world. So if you as a Purusha or you as a Shiva is creating this world, then you should have all the knowledge to create this world, right? You must have it, whether you know or don't know, but you must have it. For example, you know how many type of chemicals you must release in order to digest a certain kind of protein. You know it, whether you know or don't know, but you know. Understood? In the same way, that if you claim to know that you are the body, then of course you should know it. You may say, no, but I'm consciously not aware of it, but so what? So what? You're not consciously aware of it does not mean that it is not there. See? So this is what it is. So Patanjali is asking us to look at this world, and whatever the world has, you will definitely be able to exploit it if you meditate on it. That means if you start meditating on nature, meditating, contemplating on nature, vitarka, when you apply vitarka in the domain of nature or in the domain of prakriti, then of course you will be able to extract powers from it. For example, I'll give you one example. Exploring the nature, Prithvi Tattva, going to its essence and discovering the smallest particle, probably, which is electron in the three, proton, neutron, electron, the smallest particle, electron. When you have applied vitarka in this direction and you have tried to find out what it is, what it has revealed itself, and it has given you so much power that you have become kind of omnipresent. You can listen to distant things, you can see distant objects. You see, so how you it has happened only by the play of one particle on which you had meditated or you applied your tark or vitark. So just by understanding one electron, we have progressed this much. Look at it. So in Prithvi Tattva, and also one electron, one small particle, and it is said that all scientific development, modern development today, which we carry in our hand and in our offices, and all automation, all remote sensing, all progress which has been probably made in artificial intelligence is attributed to what? Is attributed to the discovery of electricity. Electricity and electron. Understanding more about electron has given us this power. So think of it, if you are able to meditate on whole nature, one after another, starting from Prithvi to Jala to Agni to all that, so you will have powers. And those powers are called siddhis. Understand? So those who attain siddhis are the ones who are meditating, sampradjnat samadhi they are attaining, and their object of meditation is prakriti, right? So Patanjali is actually pointing out to the possibilities which we have, which each one of us has. The scientists are proving to be right, that you meditate, you apply vitarka, you go deeper into your any material, any phenomenon of prakriti, and it will reveal itself. The day it reveals something, it becomes your power, it becomes your siddhi. Yes or no? So the system of yoga is not opposed to the scientific temperament, by the way. Knowledge itself is power, right? Because as soon as we begin to know a thing, we get power about it, right? So in a different elements, if you are going to meditate over the period of time, you will find lot of power. But power is not what we are seeking. Why? Power comes and goes. It does not remain. Power comes and goes. It does not remain. Right? The worldly knowledge comes and goes. It does not remain. Otherwise, हमने एक बार पढ़ लिया होता, तो हम दूसरी बार फिर पैदा होते तो फिर से क्लास केजी नर्सरी करना पड़ता है. इवन या तो फिर इसका मतलब है कि वो भी चला जाता है. ठीक है. कौन सा नॉलेज चला जाता है? Which knowledge goes? The knowledge which you attain or which you progress. Let's say this is median. इस जगह से आप खड़े होकर एक तरफ चलते हैं. It is towards प्रकृति. प्रकृति की दिशा में चला गया नॉलेज, का इम्प्रेशंस रहते हैं, पर वो आप भूल जाते हैं। ठीक है, इस तरफ चला गया, पुरुष की तरफ चला गया, वो कहते हैं उसके भी इम्प्रेशंस रहते हैं, वो आप भूलते नहीं, वहां तुरंत जंप होता है। बट मैं ऐसा मानता हूं कि दोनों ही डायरेक्शंस में एक तरीके का जंप पॉसिबल है, प्रोवाइडेड यू आर totally engrossed in it, right? For example, those what we call those prodigies who are born with certain talent in 3 to 4 years of age, they are displaying the what do you call the efficiency of masters of that field. Is it possible? Yes, possible. Why? Because they have totally immersed in that direction and applied themselves in one lifetime. It stays with them mostly. It is not going to stay with us unless we have become completely immersed in it. So, those are the people who have meditated on the Prakriti. They are yogis. Understand first. They are not ordinary people. They are yogis who have given their whole life in understanding, let's say, Swara. Okay. So you have understood that and you have that knowledge. That knowledge is going to remain with you only when you have immersed yourself and meditated upon it, not intellectually learned it, experientially investigated it. Understand? तो म्यूजिक का बुक पढ़ लेंगे, सारे गामा पढ़ लेंगे, सारा राग भैरवी पढ़ लेंगे, सारे नोट्स का सही सही हमको याद हो जाएगा और हम सोचेंगे कि ये अगले जन्म में हमें काम आ जाएगा, तो नहीं आएगा। पर हमने यदि स्वर साधना की है और हमने उसको एक योग की तरह लिया है, हमने अपनी एक नेचर की तरह से उसको डेवलप किया है, then next life of course we will be probably having those tendencies dormant in us, and at any given point in time they may spring spring up and we will be able to definitely understand those things. Okay, right? Now moving to Savitarka. Tarka means question. Sometimes you say questioning things at your own level is tark, is it not? तर्क क्या है? लॉजिक क्या है? ऐसा है तो ऐसा क्यों है? You find out the reason, right? Reasoning, logic, that is what is called तर्क. तो आज के मॉडर्न एजुकेशन सिस्टम में जो लोग लॉजिक पढ़ते हैं, there is a whole subject लॉजिक, उसको हिंदी में कहते हैं तर्क शास्त्र. तर्क का भी एक शास्त्र है. It has its own volumes of books. तर्क का शास्त्र. तो हाउ टू थिंक, तर्क शास्त्र बताता है हाउ टू थिंक. हाउ टू थिंक हमको नहीं मालूम है कैसे सोचना है. फॉर दैट ऑल्सो वी नीड अ शास्त्र. हाउ टू थिंक प्रॉपर्ली. But this Tarka Shastra can take us in two directions, which is also true. Tarka Shastra can give you the command over the world if you're putting all your Tarka in the direction of Prakriti. Tarka Shastra will become a mean to transcend Prakriti if you orient your Tarka towards the Purusha. Right? Right? So यही तर्क शास्त्र ज्ञान योग का आधार भी बन जाएगा. यही तर्क शास्त्र ज्ञान के बजाय, ज्ञान योग के बजाय विज्ञान बन जाएगा. दोनों पॉसिबल. तो पतंजलि का योग सूत्र या हमारी कोई भी फिलॉसफी कभी भी अपोज्ड टू वर्ल्ड नहीं है, अपोज्ड टू साइंस नहीं, अपोज्ड टू टेक्नोलॉजी नहीं. When you are actually meditating on different elements, then it is called Savitarka. Savitarka means, Tark means question, right? Savitarka means with question. That means you are questioning the elements. That means you're meditating on elements, their physicality. Yes or no? And then, as I said in the beginning, that it will reveal the elements will reveal themselves to you in a different way. Why? Because of your question, right? Correct. And then further, in the same way, if you proceed, in the same way, when you proceed, then you take those elements beyond the time and space. When you take the elements beyond time and space, that means you be one with them. There is one way of doing tarka. Tarka is in time. For reasoning, you have to have your presence and the elements both in time. But when you move beyond, it will become nirvitarka, without question. That means you become almost one with the elements, right? And that means now the tanmatras are going to be experienced, right or not? And think and as you think in, as the tanmatras become their objects, it will become savichar. The tanmatras are going to create vichar, right? Tanmatras are the source for all the vichar. Correct? Vichara comes upon the sensory perceptions. If you are without sensory perceptions, hardly any vichara comes. That is what happens in deep sleep. No sensations, no vichara. No tanmatras, no vichara. Correct? So when the tanmatras, when you take this meditation a bit higher, and now you are thinking them in time and space, tanmatras, then it is savichara. So tarka, savitarka, nirvitarka. Tanmatra is savichara. Then when you move it beyond time and space, nirvichara. Okay. Understood? Physicality questioning, taking that physicality, the tattva itself beyond, becomes nirvitarka. Taking tanmatras in the time and space, meditating on them, is savichar. Taking tanmatras also beyond time and space, nirvichar. Further, the elements are given up, either as gross or as fine, and the object of meditation is in interior organs, which means now elements are gone. Because when we have taken elements themselves, what we have covered, elements and tanmatras basically, because elements and tanmatras are creating this world. And they are also creator of our indriyas, karma indriyas and jnana indriyas. So what is meditation? Probably orienting our mind and our indriyas, cognitive powers themselves, into the domain of tattvas and tanmatras. Yes or no? What is tarka? Tarka is where the tarka will be done. Tarka will be done by your antahkarana, right or not? From your logic. Where from it will come? It will come from your intellect. Yes or no? So you're using antahkarana for the investigation of gross, and so on and so forth. You can move into indriyas also, by the way, but I'm saying tattvas are the root cause of everything. So therefore, two gross categories are given: savitarka, nirvitarka. Savichara, nirvichara. So savitarka and nirvitarka, savichara, nirvichara is possible on the gross aspect and the subtle aspect of each and everything you are dealing with, right? But tanmatras taken as an object and tanmatras becoming one with the tanmatras means becoming nirvichara, correct? All right. So now the next step is when the elements are dropped. They are not the object of meditation at all. Now the object of in is interior organ, what is called antahkarana. Hmm? When antahkarana is being meditated upon, the thinking organ, right? Thinking organ. What is that? Mind. Hmm? When the thinking organ is thought as a bereft of qualities and activities and of dullness, that means bereft of sattva, raja, tama. When this intellect is considered beyond, it is taken beyond sattva, raja, tama, right? Then that is called sananda. Sananda. Okay, ananda is when you have moved beyond guna. This samadhi, this is called blissful samadhi or sananda samadhi. In that samadhi, when we are thinking of the mind as an object of meditation, before we have reached the state which we have before we have actually reached that state, it is said by Swami Vivekananda that before we have reached the state which takes us beyond the mind, even when it has become very ripe and concentrated, when all ideas of the gross material or fine material have been given up, and the only object is the mind as it is, when the sattva state of the ego remains but differentiated from other objects, this is called asmita samadhi. Okay, right? It is called asmita samadhi. And the man who has attained to this has attained to what is called in the Vedas, bereft of body means videha. Okay, विदेह मुक्ति हो गया, उसको क्या बोलते हैं, वो विदेह की अवस्था में आ गया, अस्मिता समाधि। ठीक है ना? जब सत्व में समाधि हो गई, अस्मिता समाधि हो जाती है। This such a person can think of himself as without his gross body, but he will have to think of himself as with a fine body, which means subtle body. Understand? Such a person has a body, but it is not gross body, it is subtle body. Right? Right? So these are the people, these are the people, those that they are in this state get merged in nature without attaining the goal are called prakriti laya. Prakriti laya. Right? But those who do not even stop at enjoyment of the samadhi or enjoyment of this, is they reach the goal, that is the final liberation. See, Ananda Samadhi is really very, very positive way to be, na? Anand, Anand, right? आनंद में आ गए। अब आनंद में आने के बाद कौन छोड़ना चाहता उसको, राइट? पर आनंद के बियॉन्ड भी जाना है, तब आप आनंद से अस्मिता पर मूव करते हैं। ठीक है, अस्मिता समाधि होती है, राइट? आनंद से मूव करते हैं अस्मिता पर। ठीक है, अस्मिता माने अस्मि, अस्मि माने अहम ब्रह्म अस्मि, अस्मि, अस्मि माने हूं, यानी होने का अनुभव अस्मिता है, मैं हूं। as a presence I feel myself, अहम ब्रह्म अस्मि, मैं ब्रह्म हूं इंपॉर्टेंट है, ब्रह्म और अहम नहीं इंपॉर्टेंट, यहां पर अस्मि होना इंपॉर्टेंट है, यानी इसी को बोलते अस्मिता। करेक्ट, इसको बोलते अस्मिता। ठीक है, ऐसी फीलिंग। जड़ होने से क्या बोलते, जड़ता, है ना? है ना? ठीक है ना? जहां ता लगता है वो एक प्रत्यय है, और प्रत्यय के रूप में उस गुण को वो बताता है। जड़ से बनता है जड़ता, मम से बनता है ममता, अस्मि से बनता है अस्मिता। ठीक है, समझ में आया बात? तो ये है हमारी जर्नी। फिर कहते हैं दूसरी बात कि देर इज अनदर समाधि विच इज अटेन्ड बाय द कांस्टेंट प्रैक्टिस ऑफ cessation of all mental activities. Please look at this. This whole process of moving towards samadhi from one to another means sa, sa, savitarka, nirvitarka, savichara, nirvichara, sananda, and then asmita. Right? This is your progression. How you have applied it, how you have stopped, how you have done it by meditating upon tattva and then antahkarana and so on and so forth. At the level of buddhi, you have reached, and at the level of buddhi, when you go beyond, you reach what? Asmita. बुद्धि के ऊपर एक क्या होता है? अहंकार. ठीक है, तो ये आपको कहां तक ले जाती है? प्योर अहंकार तक की समाधि है ये आपको कहां तक ले जाती है? हम अहम तक. ठीक है, अभी भी प्रकृति के उस हिस्से तक पहुंच गए हैं जहां पहला अंकुरण होता है प्रकृति का. प्रकृति का पहला अंकुरण होता है अहंकार में. आप तत्वों को देखिए ना, तब समझ में आएगा. मन बुद्धि अहंकार, राइट? मन बुद्धि अहंकार प्रकृति पुरुष. तो प्रकृति का पहला अंकुरण क्या है? अहंकार. कहाँ खड़े हो गए जाकर के? अहंकार, अस्मि, अस्मिता पर पहुंच गए. यानी आप अपने हाईएस्ट रिकॉग्निशन पर आ चुके हैं. यहां पर आने का मतलब एक चीज और समझे. एट दिस प्लेस, एज आई सेड, अहंकार इज दैट फोर्स विच इज कंट्रोलर ऑफ the elements, which is the keeper of the elements, which is the organizer of the elements, which is the binding glue of the elements. And that is why, because of your ahankara, the pure ahankara only, asmita only, the body remains in this shape even when you are not able to recognize your own presence also. Like in deep sleep, you don't have this body, but body continues to remain the way it is. Who keeps it this way? Asmita, ahankar. Understood? Right? So this is something which is about samadhi. In 18th sutra, he says there is another way of samadhi. This is another way. वितर्क विचार से इतर है ये. क्या है? It is called विराम प्रत्यय अभ्यास पूर्व संस्कार शेषो अन्यः. ओके, दिस इज विराम प्रत्यय अभ्यास पूर्व संस्कार शेषो अन्यः. ठीक है, देयर इज अनदर समाधि which is attained by the constant practice of cessation of all mental activity, stopping all mental activity, chitta vritti nirodha, in which the chitta remains only the unmanifest impression, right? Chitta retains only the unmanifest impressions. That is called, this is asampragyat samadhi. This is asampragyat samadhi, right? This is the perfect superconscious asampragyat samadhi, the state which gives us freedom. Okay, so up to asmita there is no freedom. So sampragyat samadhi leads to only prakriti laya sthiti, which means you get dissolved in the prakriti but you remain. That means you become, your body becomes a prakriti, you are kind of controller of prakriti, but you remain. As an individual you remain. And this asmita is in the domain of prakriti itself. You have not attained the purusha. Understand? So all siddhas who have been in a way they have been termed as the super saints. For example, Mahavatar Babaji, Siddhas of many other traditions. That means what? They have their body, which was also explained that they have their body, but which is fine body, that is subtle body. The physical body gets merged in the Prakriti, but they remain in that subtle body, right? Recognizing their ahamta, that is asmita. So this type of samadhi leaves them with so much of power because Prakriti is under their control now, kind of. Tattvas, tanmatras, everything is under control. So they can manifest their body at their will. Understood? So whenever they want, they will manifest their bodies at their will. So if Kabir has to come, Mahavatar Baba has to come, they'll have to just just will, and out of that willing itself, the bodies, the type of body they want, they will have it. Swami Vivekananda says, the first state does not liberate the soul. A man may attain to all powers yet fall again. There is no safeguard until the soul goes beyond nature and beyond conscious concentration. It is very difficult to attain, although its method seems very easy. Its method is to hold the mind as the object, and whenever thought comes, to strike it down, allowing no thought to come into the mind, thus making it an entire vacuum. When we can really do this, in that moment we shall attain liberation. Okay. गोली मार दो, थॉट को देखो और गोली मार दो, खुद को नहीं, थॉट को. ठीक है. So this is how you meditate as per Swami Vivekananda. He says, although it looks very easy, क्या वो ठीक है, दिमाग थॉट नहीं आएगा, बस खत्म बात हुई. It's not that. इसमें बीज को भी समाप्त करना है. You'll have to, burn all your seeds, as I said, vasanas and sanskaras. Because till the time they remain active, thoughts will come. Till the time your vairagya is not ripened, thoughts will come. Till the time your agendas are not finished, आपके अंदर कृतकृत्यता नहीं आई है, you have not become a person who has kind of experienced that contentment in the direction of karma action, thoughts will come. Till the time you have not settled your score with the world, thoughts will come. So thoughts will come, and that means the seed of thoughts you are having. Just destroy the seeds of thoughts using yama and niyama and vivek and vairagya, thoughts will not come. You are liberated. Then if you sit, hardly any thought will come. तभी होगा, सोचे तो क्या सोचे, तब ये हाल हो जाएगा. अभी क्या है, सोचना नहीं चाहते लेकिन फिर भी सोच रहे. Right? This is what is. तो हमें इसकी पहले कोशिश करनी चाहिए. देखिए, संप्रज्ञात समाधि बेसिकली है, जो संप्रज्ञात समाधि थी वह that is attained by your conscious effort. Okay, that conscious effort is sampragyat samadhi. Okay, it is based on concentration, right? It is based on your power of concentration, right? You apply yourself. You apply yourself. You put yourself into action. Here, you go towards inactivity. Whatever little activity is happening in the mind, that also you don't. Right? Earlier one was engaging your mind into activity. Vitarka, vichara, etc. You're moving. Activity is getting subtler, but you are engaged in an activity. As you move beyond it, you want to come out of all the activities, which means I will not think. Logic वॉजिक की तो बात ही छोड़ दो. I'm beyond logic now. Neither I want to think in the positive way or the negative way. Not I, nor I will say Jad Chetan, nor I'll say Tanmatra, nor I'll distinguish anything from what it is and what it is not. I'll just strike down all the ideas, all the thoughts. Right? That will lead to liberation. Okay. System says it will lead to liberation. Patanjali may agree probably with Swami Vivekananda, or maybe he does not agree. Actually, I don't agree that Vichara Shunyata is liberation. Vichara Shunyata is liberation only to the point of, only to the time you remain thought free. Again, thoughts will come, you'll again be bound. Yes or no? So why do you think that it is liberation? It is temporary liberation. The final liberation will become yours when you are able to liberate yourself from the world by way of ripening vairagya and mumuksha. Right? Patanjali has not talked about it. Patanjali has given yam niyama. Yam niyama is also it. Yam niyama does not talk about mumuksha. Look at it. Mumukshata is not in yama niyama. That means ath yoganusashana means you should have it. Shat sampatti, vivek vairagya, etc. Which I was discussing in a Spanda Karikas. Actually, that is very much applicable here also. Everywhere it is applicable. Unless you have at least started traveling in that direction, it's not possible. So for today, we will end it here. Next time when we gather, we will take it forward. All right. So let's pray and then we leave. Om Sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramayah, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kasyid dukha bhag bhavet. Om shanti, shanti, shanti. Om.